Hey, this is Rob Equiza, and it's good to be back on Music Existence.
Welcome to another instance of Music Existence, where because of music, we exist. I'm welcoming back for his fifth profiling of sorts that I've done a handful of profilings on this guy. He's my best friend, Rob Equiza. Welcome to
What's
Music
up,
Existence.
Jake? Oh yeah, happy to be here as always.
It's cool. And like
Always.
how we can, banter like that. That just means, a lot that I can say hand file and then just
Hand
catch
file.
myself and say handful. But
A
man,
handful of files on your computer.
yeah, of the pro variety. But man, I'm excited to talk about your latest EP. And
Thank you.
it's a tongue twister of sorts. It's neither the Nether nor the Needle.
It is.
It came out on June 26th, and there's a little bit of changes. Your sound is becoming a lot more accessible, and you've actually added two new members, and in general, you're branching out in the general Southeast Asia area. So let's talk about all that, man. Welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, well, would be happy to talk about it. Yeah. So, do we start with the EP? I had a few songs under my belt in the past year, and we actually started working on that I think middle of 2024, and we weren't able to complete it as soon as we could. So the track listing has been changed, but I think it's for the better. So this new EP called Neither the Nether Nor the Needle has 4 original songs and a couple of cover tracks. So this is also the first time that I have released cover songs. So that's exciting for us. But it's also terrifying because we know for a fact that there's a bunch of fans of these artists that we covered.
I mean, including me, man, and the passion, the inspiration is just threaded all over. So, I mean, to me, it just sounds consistent. Tell me a little bit about the title. It's a contrast because
It is.
the title is a tongue twister, but the album has a very accessible sound, a very pop driven, indie pop kind of thing.
Yeah. It's definitely a conscious effort that we made to make it more accessible. Musically, yes, it is accessible, but the lyricism, the themes, the subjects are still, the same as what I've been doing from before. More pedagogical, also a bit of introspection, intrapersonal, should I say. And as for the title, that came last. In fact, we had all the songs ready to be put into the EP, and well, in fact, 4 of the singles of the originals have already been released before we released the EP. But as for the title, I just it just came to me one night, neither and the nether, and then I just needed another word that kind of sounds a bit like it, and I thought of needle, and it just sounds so good, neither the nether nor the needle. But the meaning behind that is almost the same as what I have been, what my circumstances have been when it comes to being a musical artist, an artist in general. That you're basically in between, like you're not in one side of the spectrum and the other one. You're just, kind of like bouncing around the center of those spectrums. But when we say neither the nether nor the needle, it's nether would be about, you know, obscurity,
Yeah, nether
because
meaning
you're
underground,
in,
under,
yeah,
under the
yeah, or
regions.
the nethers, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, or the nethers, like very far, like
yeah,
I don't want to just, rot in obscurity. But also the needle is a reference to being high at all times.
mm,
Like Neil Young's song. What's that again? The needle and the damage done. So
yeah.
it's mostly about about the high that we get when we're so happy that we actually forget about reality as well. So it's
You're not down in the
not being
dumps, but you're
trapped.
not like, you don't have like delusions of grandeur either.
Exactly. Thank you for verbalizing that. That's exactly what it means.
That's awesome, and it speaks to
Yeah.
where you are
Mm.
at now in your career.
Mm.
You've grown, you've branched out now. You've done gigs beyond the
Appreciate that.
Philippines now
Mm.
in Thailand, Phuket,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and in Jakarta, Indonesia,
Jakarta. Yes.
and
Yes. Yes.
like how does it feel to branch out in those territories? It's like, do you find similar Southeast Asian architectures, like ways of
Yeah.
life, or is it like
Definitely.
different? Is it like shocking?
The thing about my country, the Philippines, is I think we are the most different when it comes to Southeast Asian countries. Like two things. Number one, we are too Americanized that we do not eat with our hands in restaurants, but in other Southeast Asian countries, they can actually eat with their hands, no utensils, no spoon and fork, no fork or knife and fork, whatever. In like McDonald's, KFCs, they can do that, and it's accepted in the culture. But here in Manila, no. Number two, um, in the U.S., it is left-hand drive, right?
We drive on the right side.
On the yes, you drive on the right side, but your
Yeah.
the driver is on the
Yeah, the
left,
driver's seat is
basically.
on the left side. Yeah.
You're right, yeah. So in the Philippines, it's the same, but in other Southeast Asian countries, it's the opposite. It's just like the UK and Japan. So it's it's kind of there's a lot of similarities in those countries that I've visited, and I've visited like a few Southeast Asian countries, but there are also a lot of differences. You know, words and language. We share some words that are the same, but when it comes to a lot of culture and beliefs, it's definitely different. Like Philippines is like the most Americanized country here, man, in this part of the world. So yeah, so that's it was exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you've familiarized yourself,
Mm.
even with these differences, these similarities. It's like
Mm.
you familiarize yourself with, like, okay, like,
Mm.
even though this is unfamiliar territory, I ain't
Mm-hmm.
backing down, man. Like, this is
No,
like, this
no,
is me,
no,
like,
no.
finally branching out, and I
Oh
got
yeah, yeah.
this.
Oh yeah. Like we're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy, but I am still Dorothy. You know, you know what I mean. So, we've always believed in our music. You know, we've always believed in our capacity, and we know our shortcomings as well. But it's part of us as a band, myself and my friends who play with me in the band. So, wherever we go, we just, do it as it is, like how we do it here. You just give it your best. Any show that you do, wherever it is, whether it's local, whether it's just here in Metro Manila or other parts of the country, or whether it be abroad, we give it our best. And you can't do nothing wrong if you just give it your best shot, man.
And
Just enjoy.
yeah, it's cool because I remember you were also talking about Singapore, and people are always engrossed with Singapore about politics this, politics that, can't do this, can't do that. They're a fine country, they're a country of fines, but you're interested in Singapore, I think partially because of me kind of turning you on to that direction of underground music. Yeah.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And it's the history of music in Singapore is so rich as well, like as rich as the Philippines, I would say. And the bands that you have introduced me to, the bands from there in Singapore, are really good bands. And that's what I'm targeting. If not this year, maybe by next year. But I really do want to play there. So anyone watching this interview, and if you're from Singapore, please let us know.
Yeah, that's good. Like you heard it from Rob. He is eager to, expand his horizons and keep all the bullshit aside of all the assumptions that people have, and he's eager to check out scenes for himself, which is what matters.
Very much. Yeah, I think it comes to it stems rather from my belief, even from the beginning, that you should really go out of your comfort zone, because it kind of hinders your growth if you're always in your comfort zone, like that can be figuratively, but that can also be literally, right? Because we've spent so long playing here in our area, like just in Rizal, our province here, and also in Metro Manila. But after a while, it can get tiring, and it can feel like it's going nowhere. And
Yeah,
that's
because
exactly
you're used to as
yeah.
long as much as you find acceptance where you are, you also find a lot of cold shoulders, a lot
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
closed doors, a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
like like a lot of indifference. Like you're
Oh
playing,
yeah.
you're giving it your all, and like they're not even really looking at you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because everyone's just out for themselves, as opposed to if you're playing in a different city, or in a different, especially in abroad, they would see you as someone who might be interesting. So they actually give that attention, that much attention to your music,
They're a lot
because
less dismissive
you're an
and they're
alien.
more curious, right?
More curious, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And so that's the point, I mean, uh I don't want to stay in what do you call that again, an echo chamber. Because if you play with the same people, what I mean is productions or gigs, same bands you play every now and then, you know each other very well, and you know each other's songs already, and there's not much excitement anymore, because there's no strangers who will be hearing your songs for the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm aiming for. People who can listen to our songs for the first time.
Yeah, and like actually glean
Yeah.
something from it, right?
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and but there's a lot to consider when it comes to the traction that you've already built. I'm talking about when it comes to neither the Nether nor the Needle and the track Bystanders. That's gained the most traction, you know,
It has.
so far.
It has. Mm-hmm.
And I remember you promoting Bystanders. And, like, so, how did that track come together? Obviously, the final listing of the track just kind of happens on its own. But did you consider that to be like an early or a later placement, and you just decided for it to?
No, Bystanders is actually the first track of the EP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've written that around, I don't know, 2012. It's been around for a while, and in fact,
so you wanted this to be the lead track.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really want one song to be a lead track, you know, but still, it's the most accessible, you know. It's very simple, it's very direct to the point, and production-wise, we made it like really radio friendly. But if any musician would notice that by the end of the song, the last part of the song, there's a bit of complexity involved in the arrangement. Now, when I wrote this some 12, 13 years ago, I didn't actually. I liked the song, but I felt at the time that it didn't represent me as a songwriter, as a singer. Like, it was too poppy, you know. And in fact, I gave this song to a friend of mine who had another band. I gave it to them, and I think their band disbanded, and they weren't able to. They did consider, you know, recording it, but they weren't able to because, you know, they had problems with the band, and they disbanded. But after more than a decade, during the pandemic, I just, you know, thought of maybe I can just revive this song, because I already had Gerald, my bassist, and another drummer friend, and we kind of made a new arrangement on it, and there it is. That's the arrangement that you hear on the recording, you know. This time, though, it's Steven who plays the drums and Gerald on the bass, and I laid down some keys and layers of guitars.
Yeah, and I noticed, each layer plays its part effectively, and I was just, because you mentioned, you know, you mentioned this song having a life as far back as 2012. I mean, so did it have an inherently different style from the sort of like singer-songwriter type alternative stuff that you're used to? Was it like a radical shift and you were like, whoa, what the hell?
I wouldn't say. I think it's pretty much in the same vein. It's just that I didn't know how it would sound with drums and bass, because the demo was just, you know, just guitars, an acoustic guitar, and just singing. But most of the riff, especially the bass riff that you hear, is on guitars. So I just made Gerald, my bassist, I just made him do that riff to make it more interesting instead of the usual guitar doing the riff. So it's not too radical, but it's also way different. Now, I don't want to release that demo, but I can tell you that it's different, but not too radical, as you'd say.
Okay, yeah. So, it might be something for the archives. You never know.
No, it's not gonna see the light of day, man. No.
Oh man, it's not gonna end up on Famous or Forgotten, The Forge.
Nah.
Famous or Forgotten, Rob. You know, it's like, Jake, why are my old songs when I was like in my 20s like getting like thousands of views all of a sudden? But
because you know I sucked playing the guitar before. I mean, I'm not too good at it.
2018
today,
was when you actually like took to it a lot more,
yeah,
right?
properly playing the guitar. That's the year I started playing the guitar on stage, because since 2006 onwards, having had fronted two bands, I was just a singer. So it's still a journey as a guitarist, and it's both really exciting but also terrifying, because there's most guitarists are, they look down on you, but
That's
I don't care.
interesting. That's interesting you put it that
Yeah.
way, because
Yeah.
like I remember you mentioned that before. That came up before in one of our previous
Last year.
conversations.
Yeah.
Just
Last
learning
year,
just learning guitar, and because I remember you were, when I first met you, in fact, you were saying, like, this is stuff that I've been doing now, and I'm kind of like, getting used to it, but it seems kind of like, not the best, and like, I thought it was pretty good, and and it's something that you were originally a singer, but I can say that as someone who doesn't play guitar conventionally, for you to take to the guitar and just keep at it, like, you really know your way around those melodic sort of chords. And I think it's a lot of listening and a lot of knowing what you like, right?
yeah. Number one is instinctual. That should be the number one source, being instinctual. Now, we're very instinctive because we have we listen to a lot of music, like a lot of artists and bands from from different decades. So you and I, so that's one. But when I started, techniques and different styles, I did do a lot of watching YouTube videos. I like Paul David's. I like Rick Beato. So many I can't remember right now, but there's a lot of videos, many hours that I have spent trying to improve my guitar playing. You know, because before when I started, I was just using what people call cowboy chords. The mostly open strings. Yeah, but I in fact learned how to do power chords just in like what 20 maybe like 3-4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do power chords before, man. Like I didn't know how to mute strings, basically.
Wow. Yeah, that's gotta be like a
Yeah.
breakthrough. And even like the smaller, subtler ones count too. And lyrically, I think you're onto something, because in Bystanders, this lyric spoke to me. And correct me if I'm wrong, if I get this right entirely. But from what I surmised about the lyric, I heard, so revive the questions that you reserve. Why deny the answers that you deserve? I'm just like, whoa, like, did that come out, like, was that part of the 2012 kind of demoings of that song, or did that come out
Yeah.
like now?
Yeah. Nah, the lyrics hasn't changed ever since
Wow.
it was written. Yeah, it's always been that way.
So you were always,
Yeah.
you always felt that way. You always
Oh,
had
definitely.
that in your mind.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Cause a lot, most especially before at that time, because there's a lot of Filipinos in the society I live in, at least, that don't speak out. You know, there's always that hurt inside, or that wondering inside, but they just keep it in. It just bottle it up inside, and it just
Do you think it's
becomes too
also
heavy.
has to do with like other Asian cultures too? That like herd
Yeah.
mentality, that group mentality, that you know,
Oh, Jake,
bade,
it's
and
global.
you're like, well, you're not really bade. You're just a guy
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
know, and like,
Yeah.
there's a lack of like kind of individualism and like finding your own
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah, yeah. That's part of human nature. It's I don't think it's the race. I don't think it's a country, and I think it's basically our animal instincts to be part of the herd, you know. And if we are to be like that all times, then we're just wasting our intelligence, our humanity.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
the bystanders too. Like you said, they just bottle it up. They're afraid to kind
Yeah.
of speak out, so they're like frozen in
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Find the easier way.
Yeah,
So that's a call to action. That the and That's the same as the next track. A call to action can't be said enough. Actually, that's the third track.
no,
Yeah.
but
So,
heartbeats.
yeah,
I can
basically.
for
Yeah.
heartbeats. The
Second
next
track.
track,
Yeah.
track two, that like I can totally see you kind of knocking around a riff, and then it's like, hey, that sounds good. And then you
Yeah.
base that
true.
around
Yeah.
the song.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I can remember,
No,
I actually remember, it's a good thing you allowed me time to digest because I completely forgot. But then I remembered you actually recording heartbeats and doing the vocals on the chorus, the harmonies on the
Yeah.
chorus. And I was
Yes.
like, it's coming together. It's coming together. But
No,
that's
for
cool.
heartbeats.
That's an interesting thing that you did. Like I never like
Thank you.
I never really heard you like sing higher, like singing in falsetto.
Falsetto.
Usually
Falsetto,
you just
yeah.
belt it out. What do they call that? Beat
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. No, beat it. Beat it is a Tagalog word for
Yeah.
belting out, singing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, the very first song that I released on Spotify is actually falsetto. Your Heart is a Fuel.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's what
it
you did
kinda
for the
harkens back to
soundtrack,
that.
right? That
Yeah.
was your film.
Nah, that's different. I think that's Sukol. That
Oh,
was
okay,
the Sukol,
alright.
the Tagalog song. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
for Heartbeats, that is actually I have been wanting for a long time to write a new wave song.
Okay, yeah.
A new wave song with 16-beat drumming, because I love new wave too.
Yeah.
And the
like that
main influence.
post-punk kind of new wave kind of throwback
Yeah,
sound.
yeah, just the kind of bouncy and smooth chord progression. So the main influence on this song, I would say, but it was not intentional. I just realized, after the fact, it is the Wild Swans.
Of course,
It
they were
is-
huge in the
yeah.
Philippines.
They
you
were
know?
huge in the Philippines, but I did not know anyone who was a fan of them as well. But when I discovered them, I just like ate it all up. It was really, really good.
They
And
were
I
one
said,
of those
if I wrote
Philippine-only radio hits, like the
True.
Shauna
True.
dancing and
Donna
Inspect-
dancing. Oh my God, Ricky Gervais, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah,
like,
he was
oh,
big
like,
here.
like
Yeah.
people see him in the office and they're like, oh, Ricky Gervais, you mean the singer with Bill McRae? Yeah, but like, it's so cool that you ate that up. That
Yeah.
and it speaks to the uniqueness of the Philippines to take in artists that other people don't otherwise get a chance. Like Steven Speaks,
Yeah.
no one knows about him here. And like,
Yeah. But
you
here
know-
they're like gods, man.
but it's your unique exposure that really counts. And it's not just new wave in that song. There's like a little bit of like kind of underground, also like kind of American-esque
For sure.
like leanings too. So it's it's kind of all over the place. That so.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really take away the American influence on my songwriting, on my recording, because that is my biggest influence ever since I was a child. So that's always there. But I think that's the interesting thing there is that I may try to sound new wave, but it won't be exactly new wave. Now, if it did sound very new wave, it did sound very Wild Swans, then I'm just gonna be a carbon copy of those bands.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
it
mean,
takes that away.
yeah, you have a little
Yeah.
bit of like that underground American alternative peppered in, and you also have, a bit of Filipino flavor, like in the vein of like Sheila and the Insects. That was
sure,
pepper.
for
You
sure.
mentioned Sheila and the
For sure.
Insects
Yeah.
being
I got their 2 albums. Yeah. From
they're
Cebu. Yeah.
they're exceptional. I love that,
Yeah.
and I wish they were more popular here. I remember when
I wish that too
Flowerfish,
here. Yeah.
came out, was still kind of making the rains in 2006. It'd been out a year, but like I love how you're able to incorporate all of that and going into the what is it? The third track is
Third
Can't Be
track.
Said Enough.
That's right.
Can't be said enough. Speaking of your American influences, this one has more of like a 70s kind
Does
of
it?
groove, like a soulful
Yeah.
kind of groove. I imagined like Michael McDonald singing this. Can't be said
Oh yeah.
enough.
Very, very much, right? Yeah. Like fucking yacht rock.
Yeah,
Something like that.
it does have that kind of influence. Like it's
All
very
the notes stuff.
flowy.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
it's almost kind of
Yeah.
relaxing. It's very soulful.
Now the thing is, when I made the chorus came first on me on that one, and it doesn't happen to me often. But when I made the chord progression, initially it was just rhythm guitar, and it sounded too funky, like POT, the Philippine funk band here,
Yeah,
led by Carl Roy. Yeah,
that was what was that Advent Call? That was Carl
Advent Call.
Roy's
Yeah.
project after Advent Call, right?
After Advent Call. That's correct. Yeah. So it sounded too much like it, and I was so dissatisfied that what I did was I took the chords, I made a bass line of it, and then I sang over it, and then that was it. I just had Gerald record that bass line, and then I asked Steven, my drummer, to just follow that bass line, and then it made the verse, because the verse for me is most interesting, aside from the bridge. But the chorus is already there because the chorus there is so accessible. It's so singable.
So
like what
you
you said,
write
Michael
the
McDonald.
verses around the chorus?
On this one.
Yeah.
On this one. Yeah, that happens very rarely, but that's what I did on this one.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so how did this one come about lyrically?
Well, lyrically, the the universe gave me the chorus,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like can't be said enough, can't be said. And I said, okay, is this a love song? Like I was asking the sky and the earth, like, is this a love song? Is this a love? Are you actually giving me a love song now? Because I believe that we are antennas, we're antennas to messages from different dimensions, But when
Everyone.
but then again, I try to fight it. I said, no, I'm not gonna write a love song. The time will come when I do, but right now that time hasn't come yet. So can't be said enough could be, a word, a phrase rather, that would mean something that you say is not something that is not popular opinions that are not popular and might be controversial.
Right.
And that's how I came to writing the verse lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
especially the bridge. So people want to laugh, people want to love. They don't want any of the things that make them sad. You know,
Mm-hmm.
chasing happiness all day, no thinking of the price to pay. Uh, it's you yourself whom you betray.
And
That's it.
it's cool because it
Mm.
connects with, the previous track, Heartbeats.
Yep.
That's all about
Yep.
longing and
Mm.
chasing,
Mm.
sort of connectedness. All of these
Mm.
songs deal with expression in some form, the lack of expression, the struggle for expression.
Mm-hmm.
And, going into that, it's like
Mm.
quite a lesson is when you learn,
Ah,
like, kind of like, the percussion of that song is kind of like the waves, like the currents, like
is
the
it?
bumps in the road
Oh,
kind of thing. Like
yeah,
you're
yeah,
just like
yeah.
kind of
Mm.
you're learning from the
Mm.
awkwardness. You're learning from the, like, oh shit, I messed up kind of thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's very apt because what happened in my life in the past couple of years has been kind of sad. I've become a sort of like a pariah in a community in the music community here in our area. So um, I think it was just right that the song came back to me because this song was written around the same time as Bystanders.
Wow.
So
So
yeah,
that did
yeah,
have to do with, like, the expression, the holding
yep,
back, and then,
yep,
you know, quite
mm,
a lesson is the result of
mm,
that, where,
yep,
you find yourself, like, having to, like you expressed to me off screen,
mm,
you made that difficult decision to
mm-hmm,
leave that community, not leave it
yeah,
behind, but just move
mm,
forward, because, like you said, that
mm,
scene was
mm-hmm,
becoming a little bit too exhausting, a little bit
mm,
too, you know, confining in some ways.
yeah. I mean, not that I have anything against them when it comes to to their community. I mean, if that works for them, that works for them. But personally, it wasn't working for me anymore. So you gotta move on. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
it's definitely like a reflection, like a realization
mm,
kind of song.
definitely, definitely, yeah. But like I said, it was written like way before, 12 to 13 years ago, and it's always it's always that belief that I come back to, I circle round back to, and this is the most pedagogical song in the EP. In fact, like in the album Refugees, I had Zealots, and this time I had like quite a lesson. But this is more
Yeah, I mean,
more more
it is kind
sympathetic.
of
Yeah.
educational in some ways,
Yeah.
because,
Yeah. Very much. Yeah.
it's about kind of knowing what works for you, realizing the
Mm.
climate that you're in,
Mm.
and, like
Mm.
we discussed, wanting to
Mm.
just transcend that a bit.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Now
And
it's but in the bridge part though,
yeah.
and I really love singing that live, especially because of the dynamics that we have as a band with my new keyboardist and my new lead guitarist, along with my bassist and my drummer. But I love that especially because the lines there is very sympathetic. It says, "Here in the corner of the streets, your eyes they glow, like you can't hide your spirit shows."
Yeah.
I believe in you. I believe that you have something deeper in you, that you have a substantial soul that you just have to let out.
Yeah, in other words, you look back on that scene and saying, like, even with the activity, even with the bustling nature of it, there's something deeper that they're probably holding back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's always a challenge, you know. It's always something to think about, you know.
But it's also looking at it in a more like kind of adult, kind of mature way now.
Yes, definitely. Now, if I hope anyone understands as well. I hope everyone understands that when we as songwriters write songs like these, it is not just for other people, it's also for ourselves as a reminder, right? Because people might say, oh, like, you're so perfect, you try to educate people with your, you know, with your lyrics, with your songs.
Pedagogical lyrics.
Pedagogical, right? But no, this is for all of us, you know. This is for the world.
Yeah,
you know?
It's not talking down. It's not saying I'm up here and you're down there. Yeah. You're with us, like, in the you know, the community aspect is emphasized.
Yeah. It's a reminder, you know. It's always a reminder, like, and that has come to be, I realized, that has come to be my purpose, you know, because we play from, you know, one gig to another, one show to another, one country to another, but what is the point of all this? Now, I have accepted that I have become this kind of messenger.
Right.
Like I said, I take these messages, you know, from the universe. Like,
yeah, especially with
it sounds corny, but
of course, but like especially with the following that you have, because you do have an established following. You know, it's not just girls saying, "Hey, Pogi Rob." It's like people coming together and saying, "That's my man."
Thank you. Yeah, that's true. Now, I have, you know, I really have not used at any point in my entire musical career, I have never used my musicianship to get girls.
So they just kind of, like, they heard it from you, and then they were curious, and they gravitated to you, and you were just like, yeah, well, this is a part of me. But again, when you were a lot younger, because you didn't get into the alternative singer-songwriter stuff, you were a completely different kid back then. I remember when you were like very scrawny, and you looked different. I mean, you cut your hair by the time you knew me, but you were listening to so many different stuff, like hip-hop, right?
Yeah. I started with hip hop. In fact, I got all the Eminem albums. I started with that. But the very first bands that I really listened to was, well, we were in high school at the time that boy bands were like, you know, on the mainstream. So boy bands was kind of my first love. Right. But as you know, as you grow older and you look for more complex music, and you introduce yourself to different kinds of cuisine, so to speak, rather. We've went through that whole evolution thing. So.
Yeah, and well, it's like you're not afraid to acknowledge your past. I mean, that's good. Like, not even when you were with your buddies, you know, waiting for, you know, the actual music to drop while the, you know, Backstreet Boys was playing in the interim, like you did, like one of those, like, mimicking. Like,
you saw that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
It was good, man. It was nice.
For sure, man. I mean, like, I'm not Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan says, "I'm not that guy anymore. Why are you interviewing me?"
Yeah, you know, he only writes like a number of songs, and then he turns the light off, and he's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah, like yeah, sure. It is true that we become different persons over the years, but that person, however lousy or however however evil for some people, you were, you have to acknowledge that you have been that person.
Right.
You know, it's not anyone else. You know, it's and there's no shame in admitting what you have went through, however bad it is, however corny it may look, your image to people now,
Mm-hmm.
because that's how life is, man. That's how the universe is. You know, it's always growth until entropy.
Yeah. And and it all comes together throughout neither the Nether nor the Needle, and it's keeping that middle ground, keeping that humility, and when you come to acknowledge those previous, like, gaffy, faulty kind of behaviors, I bring you to the penultimate track, This Masquerade. And a lyric from this song stuck out to me.
Yeah.
It's, you try to talk it over, but the words get in the way. And I was thinking, like, well, you're already talking, right? But then I thought about it. I was like, wait, but the words get in the way. That means, like, you want to say something, you've repeated it over and over in your head, how it sounds cohesive in your head, but then when you actually say it, it's super mangled and verbose, and you're like, what the hell?
Oh, that's a very good take, Jake. However, it's not my lyrics. It's not my song. It is by the great American songwriter Leon Russell.
Yeah, Leon Russell, but it's like, it's so cool because it fits within this
This EP.
it fits within the EP. It fits with the thematic assessment of growth, of humility.
Yeah,
acknowledging
and then
that
also the
parts.
masquerade. The masquerade. Just pretending to be this, this cool guy. Whenever you're in certain scenes or circles or crowds, you pretend to be somebody else that you're not.
When you try to talk it over, but the words get in the way, you reveal your inner nerdiness or your dorkiness. When you try to be cool.
Yeah. But to be honest, this was originally arranged. This song was arranged by my brother in free radio. Yeah, so that's Kristen Hart, my brother, who was my guitarist and co-songwriter in my first band, Free Radio. So we have been playing that from before, like early 2000s, man. And we decided to cover this song because our mother is a fan of Karen Carpenter.
Yeah,
the Carpenters themselves.
The Philippines loves the Carpenters.
Definitely. And they have a version of this song, which is actually the one that we were aware of. I didn't know about the original before So we grew up on the Carpenters. Right. One of the songs is This Masquerade. We really loved it, and then my brother decided to make a rock arrangement of it, and then we were just, playing it in our band before, and then, come last year, I decided, hey, there was this great arrangement. Let me see if I can play it, and fortunately, I can. And he is credited, my brother is credited as the arranger on that song.
That's really cool. Yeah. And again, like, it really is admirable that you do acknowledge the past is not entirely cringy. Like, there are moments from those times where you look back on and like, there's some merit in this. Like, I can actually like take from this and like glean something substantial.
We have a saying here in the Philippines. In Tagalog, it says, ang di marunong tumingin sa pinanggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa paroroonan. In English, it means whomsoever do not know how to look where they came from will not reach their destination.
All right. So without acknowledging where you come from, you're not gonna move forward. So the past does play an important role, and a lot of people are ashamed of looking at the past and saying like, I was a fuck up, I was awful. But then again, it goes back to what you were saying with this EP. It's about growth.
What people lack, for those kinds of people who can't really look back, what they lack is forgiveness for themselves.
Right.
When we say forgiveness, people think you have to forgive others, but the first thing that you really have to do is to forgive yourself, man. If it's, a bad thing that you did, if you were really like fucking evil, like a lousy person.
Evil, lousy, just slothy, like kind of.
But even the embarrassing stuff that you did before, you have to acknowledge it, because we go through being cringy and being stupid, and it's part of growth. You're not born to be an instant cool guy, No one is, right?
Yeah. I mean, all the pogey bands that we chuckle at, they probably didn't start out that way,
Yeah, for sure. Like you've seen the band that Marilyn Manson was in before.
Yeah, he was a nerd.
He was a nerd, man. You've seen the pictures of young Eddie Vedder, Chris Cornell, Kurt Cobain. They were like, man, they were so different, right?
Yeah, but
all our idols.
It's really cool. So the last two tracks.
It's a medley.
The last two tracks that you did this Masquerade, which is Leon Russell. So that's your penultimate song is a cover, and then the last song is a medley. It's a fusion of two songs. It's Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division, and then Big Mouth Strikes Again by The Smiths. And
that's right.
It's like, and I like how it's not just like this Masquerade. It's not just a carbon copy of the song by the numbers, by the book. Like you actually like play with it a little, and again you make the sound consistent to the EP, which initially kind of threw me off a bit, because I'm like, okay, this sounds sonically consistent, so these songs like can pass as the originals. Like even if you were to go to the original artists of these songs and present it to them, they would say like, oh shit, like you pretty much own this song now, man. That's so good.
I've always
You're
had that belief that
if, to it, while adding your own spin, which I appreciate.
Yeah. I've always had that belief that if you cover a song, you just don't cover it like you're aping the original. Because my favorite covers, that's of course number one, Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley. I mean, however much I love Leonard Cohen, I love Jeff Buckley's cover even more. So covers. It should be like you have to put a spin, your own spin on that one. You have to own it, because if you don't, then you're just pretending. As a singer-songwriter like you are, like we are urged to be as true as possible, even if we're just borrowing songs.
And and I love how you seamlessly fuse the two together, because when it happens to like go into Big Mouth Strikes Again, I'm like, wait, this is a different song. And then I remember some of the inflections, how you were singing, how some of the chords sounded. I'm like, wait, is that the Smiths? And I was like, shit. when I looked up the lyrics and I saw The Smiths as like the artist, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I've had that medley for over a decade as well. So I just realized that it's maybe like so 3 songs, right, from the same era that's on the EP.
Right.
So I've had that, and at the time I didn't know that I would be recording it eventually, and I'm so happy that I did it, and I would not be able to pull it off without my band,
Right.
because Steven the drummer, Gerald the bassist, Val the lead guitarist, and Miko my keyboardist, they're all like really great, man. Like we communicate so fast. And they're very instinctive too.
It's
That's what I love
seamless,
about
right?
them.
It's like, of
Yeah.
course you have to put in effort in that communication, but they understand the effort
They
that
understand.
you're putting in.
They quickly understand. I mean, for myself and Miko, my keyboardist, we're basically the same generation, so that's very much understandable. But Val is like Val, Steven and Gerald, they're all in that younger generation. Like
Are
10 years.
are they all more
younger
around my
than we are.
age?
Younger even.
Oh
Jake.
wow, like
Younger
late
even.
20s?
Yeah. Nah, 30s.
Oh, okay, 30s. So
Yeah, like 30,
I mean,
30, yeah,
oh,
30,
wow.
31.
So-
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 95, 94. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, 95, 94. Exactly. So they come from a different school,
Oh,
but
wow.
they understand, they understand, and I think it's that chemistry that we have, coming from different types of music influences, and when we merge our playing styles, it just clicks, and I love that.
And then,
Yeah.
what can you say overall about? You've mentioned the not only the inclusion but the impact of having Val, of having Miko, and reflected on the whole family that is the band of Rob Equiza. What can you say about Jam Lemon Records? Because I interviewed you before when you had your 11th anniversary. And what can you say about how Jam Lemon has expanded alongside the point to mention? It's a brief point, but Rob recently signed me for my debut solo Jake Kuzmo single release.
And I'm so happy. It's an EP. It's a 2-track EP released by Jake Kuzmo, finally owning up his name as an artist.
Yeah.
And it is on streaming services now, guys. It's called How to Care So Much and More.
And more.
Please check it out. Yes, and thank you for that, Jake. Thank you for this. He is now a part of the Jam Lemon Records artist roster. Yeah. Well, we started this label. Oh my God, what was that? Like 2010. 2010. Yeah, it's a play on words on John Lennon, as people might have observed. Jam Lemon Records has put out, limited copies of albums ever since 2010. And come 2018 or 2017, we started signing up a lot more artists of varied genres. And in fact, 2 Americans are now signed. One, a noise experimental artist called Anarcha Akaza, and of course, Jake Kuzmal, an indie rock artist, handsome one at that. And we also are planning. Well, It's about to happen, but we have another Southeast Asian band signing up. They're a Britpop band, and we have an Australia-based artist as well. And here in the Philippines, we got probably around close to 20 artists, bands, or solo artists. There you go. So it's been expanding, and we still stick to the ideology of being indie. You know, being not too dictator dictatorial rather when it comes to their music, because I believe in in the creative force of these artists, but also we try to be as discernful as possible.
The
We don't just accept
presentation
anyone.
too of
Yeah.
the album and the
Mm-hmm.
creative people that you employ for
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
sort of expression is
Mm.
really um it's remarkable because you um you led me to January Turla, who did my
Mm.
album art for
Oh
my
yeah.
EP release. Like
Mm-hmm.
her interpretation, we saw eye to eye on the
Yeah.
perspectives of, being patient versus being in the grind versus exploring your own
Mm.
free will with the
Yeah.
different types of symbolism. I see that reflected in your releases too,
Mm.
with heartbeats and can't be said enough. When you look at the
Mm.
album art, it's almost like
Mm.
you're pulling a vinyl off the shelf.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cool how it works. Like I can see,
Mm.
physical releases,
Yeah.
in that
Yeah, you can
way.
imagine it, in physical version, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, as the presentation, the visual presentation is just as important to me as the songs itself. You know, like because Bjork said this, and this is not verbal. This is not verbatim, but she said something along the lines that some people cannot understand my music because some people are more visual.
Hmm.
So I make my visuals the way that they will understand my music.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It definitely comes through, man. And just to
Yeah.
wrap up, I mean, any
Hmm.
any last words you want
Any
to
last
say to the
words?
people? Like, just to, just to like
Yeah.
sum up what we talked about and any final thoughts on that.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything, man. I'm just too grateful. I think that's it. Stay grateful for whatever you have in your life. At any point of your life, whether you're happy or most especially when you're sad, be grateful for whatever you have right now and use your current resources. Do not wait until you think you're ready, because you will never ever 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 be ready. Man by nature is insatiable.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we
there's something that I came across. It's like, you know, fake it till you make it doesn't mean be an asshole and until you get
yeah.
a cult following, but like
uh
be shitty until people kind of like see
mm,
artistic value in your shittiness, and then
yes, yes.
it'll encourage you to
uh
become a better and more fully formed musician. The earlier you start,
yeah,
even if it's
yeah.
difficult getting that dialogue going with a lot of cold
Mm,
shoulders out there, a lot of
yeah,
dismissive people, just work
yeah,
at it. Just find communities who will nurture
yeah,
you, because you can't
yeah.
do this alone. A lot of people are preaching
That's true. That's
selfishness
true. Mm-mm.
nowadays, and I don't need this person, that person, but you need
The rap.
to just find, like-minded people who
Yeah,
will allow themselves to take interest in what you do, and you
mm,
can come up with something great.
exactly. The right people will find you.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And in addition, I'd like to say just a reminder as well that life is fleeting, man.
Yeah.
Life is fleeting. It's very short. It's very short, you know? And when you grow old, and I hope everyone gets old, we don't want to die young. We're not we're way past the 27 club.
Because it is a blessing
Yeah.
to be able to
It is
be older.
growing old is a blessing, man. It is a blessing. Now, when we grow old and we don't want to have regrets,
Right.
do what you love. Balance it with whatever you do for work or whatever with family. Just give it time. Make time to do what you love. Because when you have that love for yourself, because that's the fruit
Yeah.
when you do when you pursue your passion. When you have love for yourself, you'll give love to your family, to your friends, and to the community.
Yeah.
It's a ripple effect, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and that is, and yeah, again, when you look at it from a grounded place, people are afraid to get old, so people become set in their ways. They become more closed off. They say it's solitude, but there's no denying that it is loneliness. It's like eventually you're gonna need to reach out to get that circle, that energy going again.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
I mean,
So I hope
yeah.
everyone does follow their pursuit. Like what you have to listen to your heart, what the soul yearns for. You have to, really dig into that and understand yourself. Self-doubt will never ever go away,
Yeah.
right? But it's just you just have to learn how to handle that whenever it comes.